Okay, let me see if my is not working. Yo, there we go. Is it working? This is not work. Is this working? Hello? Hello. There we go. Okay, yeah, there we go. My mic's working. All right. Welcome to episode 608 of the Black Brain Trust Space and Technology. Had a little bit of audio issues as usual, but I think I got everything sorted out now. So, maybe perhaps what I'll do is I'll just give, I don't know, people a couple minutes to come on in. um, I understand it's a Saturday morning, and uh, I think there's probably one or two other live streams talking about the seven granule situation. So, yeah, it kind of is what it is. But here's what we'll do. I'll just go ahead and get into reading the articles here. We've got a few things on the docket that we're going to cover this morning. One thing I do want to preface this, I'm kind of piggybacking this off of the last space and tech live stream that we did. We talked about Space Force is open for business, let's just say, with a lot of aerospace and space contractors. And given the hack that took place just a few days ago, the SolarWinds hack and everything else that's been going on, even with like the hacking of the, I'll say supposed. I don't have any data to prove any of this. The supposed hacking of the voting machines, the SolarWinds hack, this billions of dollars just being thrown at the Space Force. We're looking at where we're heading into this new 2021 scenario going forward. A lot of movement and action going on in space. So what we'll do is we're going to start off with an article here from TechCrunch. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Oh, wait. There we go. So this is from TechCrunch. Gas stations in space. Startup Orbit Fab extends seed round to $6 million with strategic investor Munich RE Ventures. On orbit servicing startup Orbit Fab, which bills itself as the company focused on creating gas stations in space, has added an additional investor to its seed funding round. The add-on investment comes from Munich RE Ventures, the corporate VC arm of the Munich RE Group. Munich RE Group is a key provider of insurance for satellite operators, in particular, offering policies that cover pre-launch, launch, and on-orbit operations. I had no idea there was insurance for that. Satellite insurance. You just call Geico? Geico, I have a satellite. Can you give me a policy? Orbit Fab, which was a finalist in our TechCrunch Disrupt Battlefield in 2019, has designed a system that consists of what are essentially in-space tugs that can guide spacecraft on orbit to refueling depots, to which they can connect to the company's custom fueling interface. Is designed to be relatively easy to incorporate into new satellite designs, providing a way to easily refuel in space without requiring any special robotic systems for capture and docking. What were we just talking about, man? Way stations in space. The goal of the startup is to help create a more sustainable orbital commercial operating environment, extending the life of spacecraft, reducing debris, and saving companies money. Bringing on Munich RE Ventures should provide it with significant advantages in terms of being able to build a more sustainable, long-lived operational spacecraft and to launch and operation risk models for satellite operators. When we look at the standing up of a propellant supply chain, so much of it is the financial model. Orbit Fab co-founder and CEO Daniel Faber told me in an interview. How do we use this to move our customers' risk, to make sure that we're moving capital expenditure to operational expenditure and yet not inducing additional risk? Faber went on to explain that Munich RE Ventures Timur Davis began to show up at more and more space conferences, and Faber began to chat with him at these events. Turned out that the venture firm was putting together an investment thesis around in-space servicing and infrastructure, and Orbit Fab eventually became the first investment on the back of that new thesis. The new investment brings Orbit Fab's total seed raise to $6 million, including $2 to $3 million in government funding on top of VC funds. Wow, the government even got involved. The company has also now conceived and researched a self-driving satellite kit for docking that it has received National Science Foundation funding to do preliminary requirements development. And it's now at the point where it can begin designing and building that out. 2021, see that right there? We told y'all. Right there. 2021 looks to be a big year for many new companies in the space industry. And Orbit Fab, with its new approach to sustainable, scalable satellite operations, is definitely among them. You said the brain trust was crazy. You said we were crazy for talking this space mining nonsense, right? This is what we were told. We were crazy. But as we can clearly see here, 2021 will actually mark as the year. Let's talk a little bit more about it. Let's see. Oops. Hold on. All right. This is from Axios. This is June 11th, 2019. Now, the reason why I'm pulling this here, because I was just kind of, when I was looking kind of like for some articles to kind of support the main articles, and by the way, salute to Mike V for texting me that one. I want to kind of contextualize it. I want to build off of what we were just talking about, because again, I think, just that last article just stated it, 2021 is the year, which is a couple weeks away. So we need to look at what actually has been taking place this whole time to lead up to this. Now, I won't go through this entire article right here, but what this article does point out is how to get to the point where we're talking about gas stations in space and all that, NASA had to essentially offload a lot of this type of development to private companies, to small firms. Okay, there had to be a decentralization of some sorts, if you will. So let's just take a look at this article here. NASA's murky commercial space future. I like how the space station's a dollar sign. NASA's plans to create a robust economy in low Earth orbit where private space flight companies can flourish could eventually leave the agency's astronauts stranded on Earth with nowhere to go. NASA's hopes to play a lead role in developing a private spaceflight economy, including private sector astronauts. The agency sees this as a way to free it up to focus on further afield goals like bringing humans back to the moon and eventually to Mars. I don't know, the Chinese planted a flag up there. You might want to have a talk with them first. But if private industry takes over human spaceflight destinations in low Earth orbit and funding and political support for NASA missions to the moon and Mars dissipates, there may be no point in having a government-sponsored human spaceflight program at all. And given that this was written in 2019, I think we've had some reconciliation of sorts. Because, well, no, in all actuality, I think what we've done is we have offloaded this. We've offloaded this. I don't know what it is, and outside of NASA just doing the administration work for, coordinating missions. It's largely up to the private companies, Blue Orbit and or Blue Origin and SpaceX and the rest of these people, they do their own launches. But what they do is they coordinate with NASA because they're taking stuff up to the ISS and all that. The agency wants American companies to fly their astronauts first to the International Space Station starting in 2020. Which is what SpaceX started doing. And then later to space stations that companies operate themselves. What? Right there. Let that one sink in. Let that one sink in. Individual companies can operate space stations. Space is out of the dominion of the territorial or terrestrial dominion to the extent that companies can operate space stations. The catch: by largely giving up control of human spaceflight in orbit, a region of key importance for Earth science and other discoveries, NASA risks that its human spaceflight program might be more heavily impacted by political whims. Well, that's why, it becomes more of a thing where the private sector themselves are going to have their own probably astronaut academies and stuff like that, or that'll probably be its own new burgeoning industry, astronaut academies and shit. This is amazing. Okay. So the link to the Axiom article is there too. But see, when you read this and then you follow this up with all of the other articles we've been reading with regards to space, you start to get a clearer picture of what's taking shape here. Now, give me just a moment. Rael, what's going on? Paul, Engineering Cannabis, American Negro, peace, brothers. Top of the morning to you. So let's see here. And I pulled this article up too because I think because like I said, when I get like suggested reading stuff, right, which is related to what I'm looking into when I'm putting the dockets together here. Now, what I wanted to do also here was, let me share it. If you guys can see this here, this link is also in the docket there in the description. So billionaire Robert Bigelow sets up new company to operate future space stations. So, I mean, kind of knew this, right? Like when it comes from NASA and they're talking about private companies operating space stations, but see, a year before then, right? February 20th, 2018. Kind of knew this was coming. Now, again, we have to really look at this here because in these particular like spheres of social media and stuff, right? This particular area of YouTube, the anti-intellectualism is so thick in the air, right? That you literally will have dudes that they'll go on these heavy debates about like the merits of like space industrialization and commercialization. Like they'll argue the concepts of doing things like space mining and all that and say, well, there's no space. And then it's like you turn around and look at all this shit. Look at this. Like where are these people's heads? Look at this. Nevada-based Bigelow Aerospace has had space modules in orbit for more than a decade. They've already been building modules for the ISS. They launched an inflatable one that went up to the ISS back in 2013. But now billionaire founder Robert Bigelow is starting a new push to operate commercial space stations. To that end, he has set up a separate company called Bigelow Space Operations, or BSO, with the name of having Bigelow's expandable B330 modules sent into orbit. Two of the 330 cubic meter or 12,000 cubic foot habitats are due to be ready for launch as early as, what year is that? Oh, wait. Sorry, I'm enjoying this coffee. I've got some non-dairy hazelnut creamer in it. I love hazelnut. You know what I love more than hazelnut? Being accurate. The timing for deployment will depend on the outcome of Bigelow's negotiations with potential launch providers, and the findings of a market study will be conducted by BSO this year. We intend to spend millions of dollars this year in drilling down, hopefully to a conclusion, one way or the other, as to what the global market is going to look like. And we expect to finish this investigation by the end of this year, Bigelow told reporters during a teleconference. Bigelow said BSO would report whether its news is terrible, or is it mediocre, or is it great, and decide on that basis whether to start building more B330s. Several of those modules could be combined to create orbital outposts bigger than the International Space Station, which has 32,333 cubic feet of internal pressurized space. Commercial space is not just about hardware, it's about doing business differently. Bigelow Aerospace also has plans for a gigantic space station called Olympus, with more than twice as much volume as the International Space Station. Okay, yeah. Olympus stations could be ready for launch 8 to 10 years from now. So now we're talking 2030. But they'd have to be built at a new manufacturing facility in Florida, Alabama, or some other location suitable for transportation to the launch pad. So let's just look at that piece right there, right? So if I were someone who was looking at some sort of company to build, right, that would be relevant for the next 10 plus years, right? That's going to be hedged upon being ready to be operable. And that means if I were in Florida, Alabama, or anywhere close to this, I would be looking to be a subcontractor for Bigelow Aerospace, particularly in the logistics area, right? Assistance with them getting, parts and whatever else. Or this just right here, though, this tells you everything. Right here. This is how you have to read this type of stuff, man. All of Bigelow space modules, including two uncrewed Genesis test spacecraft that were launched on Russian rockets in 2006 and 2007, and the 560 cubic foot beam module that's currently attached to the space station, that's the inflatable one right there, rely on an expanded space technology that NASA developed in the 90s. The technology involves launching a folded-up soft-walled spacecraft and then inflating it to its full volume in space. Because of the materials used in the wall fabric, such modules can be made more impervious to micrometeoroid impacts and space radiation than metal hold habitats, Bigelow said. Bigelow noted that his drive to create commercial space stations has had its ups and downs. He said he had commitments of various sorts for space deals with representatives from 8 countries back in 2007. Dude, they seen this. Then all hell broke loose due to the Great Recession and the twists and turns of space policy. And we're kind of seeing that right now, but I think you're because of things that's going on, like, this election issue. We just had a major cyber attack. We've had charges of privacy invasion, things like the Huawei stuff that we covered. We don't want Huawei's 5G switches and hardware as the backbone of our 5G networks, because then that they could spy. When you fast forward, you get to a point where you hit like a tipping point. Okay. And that's where we're at. And that's why everything keeps hinting at a couple weeks from now, 2021, as being like what we're literally on the tip of the needle right now. Okay. And the last article, well, I don't know if it'll be the last article. It'll probably be the article before the last. But we're going to cover what is actually the tipping point. It's probably not what most people think. Okay. There's all the stuff that's happening, right? But then there's an actual, I guess you can say, I won't go there. We'll pull up the article. Hold on. Today he's facing what he calls a different playing field. The interest in space operations has rebounded thanks to improvements in the economy and reductions in the cost of access to space pioneered by SpaceX. But Bigelow said that he and other potential space operators are facing competition from two main sources. One is you know who, which Bigelow has been talking with some of his former partners about joining in on a space station project beginning in the 2022 to 2023 timeframe. So that's just 2 to 3 years out. No, 1 to 2 years out. They are being systematically courted by China. Well, you got to understand something. We covered last week. They've already launched a 6G satellite. Now, we postulated and theorized here that 6G satellite isn't for Earth-based communications. Let that one marinate. You had the consortium that comes together and defines what each generation of like the G bandwidth will basically encompass. And so a 6G satellite goes up, and then they're like, well, wait, we don't even know what we're going to use that for. And China's like, dummies, it's not for stupid cell phones. This is for space shit. The other is NASA, which is already starting to shift its focus toward the yet-to-be-built Lunar Orbital Platform Gateway, while leaving the fate of the International Space Station after 2025 uncertain. How much do you want to bet the ISS gets sold? How much you want to bet it goes up for sale? This is a political problem and one that I call upon the Trump administration to get involved in. Well, he did create a space force, but we didn't. No, there was that. He said that he had an uneasy feeling that there was no clearly defined plan for moving from the space station to future platforms for research, manufacturing, and other activities in low Earth orbit. Again, this article is in the description. Here, let me check the chat here. Yeah, the IEE piece, Mike. Yep. Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. Give me a second here. Okay. So this is what I was kind of like leading to right here. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure I can see this. Where? There it goes. Okay. All right. This is from space.com. Get ready for the great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. In their closest encounter since 1623, Jupiter and Saturn appear as a single star in the evening sky next month. Now, this was from November 2nd, 2020, but the date is in 2 days, actually. Yeah. Did you guys know this? I mean, I look, I understand right now that, the world is captivated by the the exchange and dialogue between a 1-7 granules and a woman who self-identified herself as a nickel in the face. And this has basically just sent the internet a buzz. Okay. So much so, you've got new YouTube channels being created to literally just devote themselves to responding to of responses of responses to somebody saying that someone's average. Okay. So, yeah, with all of that, we've got this. All through the summer and into the fall, the two gas giants of the solar system, Jupiter and Saturn, have been calling attention to themselves in the southern evening sky. Jupiter, of course, always appears brilliant and is usually one of the brightest nighttime objects, but in recent months, it has stood out even more than usual because of the presence of bright Saturn trailing off just to its left. Appearing about 1/12 as bright, Saturn has, in a way, served as Jupiter's lieutenant in this year of 2020. I'm not going to go there for this one. All I was going to say is this, man. I okay. I just want to throw this out here just for the sake of making this conversation less boring. Uh, there's a guy I follow. Well, I don't really follow him. I just check his content on occasion because he's interesting. Because he's a Mason, and he basically gave a Masonic allegorical interpretation of the election by uh, actually using Trump and Biden as like representations of Jupiter and Saturn. It was like amazing. It was crazy. I mean, I don't really go there and then overlay it with reality, but I love when people can do things imaginatively. But yeah, an infrequent meeting whenever Jupiter and Saturn are in conjunction, that is, when they have the same right ascension or celestial longitude, is referred to as a great conjunction, primarily because, unlike conjunctions with other bright planets, these two don't get together very often. The average frequency of occurrence is merely the product of their sidereal periods divided by the absolute value of their difference. A sidereal period is defined as the time required for a celestial body within the solar system to complete one revolution with respect to its fixed stars. And Saturn's period of 29.65 years multiplied by Jupiter's period of 11.86 years amounts to 351.65. Dividing this value by the difference in their sidereal periods gives us 19.76 years. So about every 20 years, Jupiter and Saturn will have a rendezvous. The next one is coming very soon, December 21st. That is in 2 days. Okay. Says a great conjunction on December 21st, 2020 will be a once in a lifetime opportunity to see Jupiter and Saturn together through a telescope. Most of the time when Jupiter overtakes Saturn, they usually are separated by more than a degree. But come December 21st, they will be separated by just 1/10 of a degree, or 6.1 arc minutes. To gauge how close that is, on the next clear night, check out Mizar, the star in the middle of the Big Dipper. A fainter star, Alcor, is positioned only 11.8 arc minutes away, and the ability to perceive the separation of these two stars was once considered a test of good vision. And yet, Jupiter and Saturn will approach to within about half that distance. That's just 0.102 degrees. This means that under high magnification in your telescope, you'll be able to see both planets, Saturn with its famous ring system. Now, they're literally saying you'll be able to see this with your eyes. Well, they say under high magnification. I've also said that you'll be able to see it with your eyes, but I don't know. Saturn with its famous ring system and Jupiter with its cloud bands and Galilean satellites simultaneously in the same field of view. How great is that? It will be interesting to watch how the gap between these two planets will gradually close during November and December. On November 1st, they are 5.1 degrees apart. November 15th, 3.8. December 1st, they will be separated at 2.2. And by December 15th, they will be down to just 0.7 degrees. Now, is it me, or do these dates, right? These dates, these dates have a terrestrial correspondence. I don't want to go too deep into it right now, but yeah, see, that's how my head works. Okay. Anyway, by December 15th, it'll be down to just 0.07, then 0.1 degrees closer each night thereafter until their long-awaited meeting on December 21st. The coalescence as to whether the two planets might appear as a single star. I personally can recall on June 5th, 1978, when Mars and Saturn were separated by a similar distance, and yet I could clearly separate both planets with my naked eye. See, that's what I was saying. Like, they're saying that you, even with the naked eye, you'll be able to see this stuff. However, those who are nearsighted might see Jupiter and Saturn as merely one by removing their eyeglasses. Okay, well, that's where I'm screwed. The last time these two planets appeared so close was on July 16th, 1623, when there were only 5 arc minutes apart. We will get another 6 arc minute separation on March 15th, 2080. Maybe a few of our younger readers will be around to catch that one. I really have a sneaking feeling here that there's far more significance to this than just a mere alignment. Okay. And it's the reason why I think that 2021, which is but a mere week and a half after this, really indicates an acceleration in all things space. I don't know. I think there's something else to this. But you're not really hearing much about it, though. Right? All right, let's see. I think I got one more article here, and then because I actually have, I'm trying to schedule another one. I was trying to get a couple of live streams done for today because it's just kind of hard during the week. So I had a few things I wanted to cover. So this would just be sort of like a news reader type of live stream here. Let me check the chat. It wasn't on the screen? You guys didn't wait, you guys didn't see the what the hell? You guys, it said sharing. You guys didn't see it? Well, here. I don't know why it didn't show because it says sharing right now. Yeah, that was it, right? What the hell? I suck at this, you guys. My bad. All right. So here, let me just. This is what I was reading right here. The link is in the description. That sounds so cliche. Me saying that. The link is in the description, and then I'm pointing down. You can't see me, but I'm doing that pointing down motion where you go. The link is in the description below, and then I'm pointing at my leg, but you're supposed to interpret that as the description. Sorry, I told you I humor myself sometimes. There was a Samsung. Okay, all right. Well, All right. Well, anyway, that's the article right there. That was what I just read here. And I'll just for posterity, I'll go ahead and let me just go ahead and do this. You have to do the whole live stream over. God damn. Do it over. All right, redo. Do over. Let's see. Explain the jokes on Black Twitter about black people getting superpowers, asking for a friend. Bro, wait a minute. Let me just let me see this here. Someone explained the jokes on Black Twitter about black people getting superpowers on December 21st, asking for a friend. Uh I was thinking more along the lines of December 21st kind of being like the marcation point for like the space industry to just open up as a whole. I didn't know anything about superpowers. That's none of those articles are coming across my feed. Do they have any articles they can send over that we can look at? I haven't seen anything like that. Hmm. Because I don't think this article mentioned anything about superpowers. Let me see. So there's a conjunction. So there's an point about every 20 years rendezvous. And then the arc minutes, Big Dipper. You know, Jupiter, Saturn, 0.102 degrees, November, December, coalesce. No superpowers. Nothing about superpowers here. I'm curious though. Now you've piqued my curiosity. I wouldn't mind having superpowers, but I just haven't heard anything about this. I don't know anything about superpowers, but that's interesting. Interesting. So let's see here. All right, and this one also was sent through by Mike V. Salute. All right, let me make sure you guys can see this. Do you guys see this article up here? I follow Black Twitter on Reddit, and they have been doing this for a week now. Oh God. Okay. Well, let me tell you something, man. I would say at this point in time, it's really. I wouldn't. I would say outside of maybe like the Black Brain Trust and another group of people that I'm gonna end this live stream off like covering here because myself and Lionel sat on one of their live streams a couple days ago, and I'm gonna be reaching out to them to do some collaborative stuff. But I would say the only black anything you should follow is maybe like the Black Brain Trust. All right, let's see here. Squire, a barbershop tech startup, triples its valuation to 250 million in the latest round. Squire, a startup that sells software to barbershops, has raised 59 million in a round led by Iconic Capital. The raise is 45 million in equity capital and 15 million in debt financing. The round comes just months after Squire closed its $34 million Series B led by CRV. With the new financing, Squire has nearly tripled its valuation, up from 85 million in June to 250 million bucks today. Other investors in the company include Tiger Global and Trinity Ventures. What happened? Squire's revenue went from zero in March when all barbershops closed to between 10 and 20 million in ARR just 10 months later, TechCrunch has learned. The growth indicates how the next wave of barbershops will be built atop of digital technology instead of offline processes. What the fuck? We just took off like a lightning bolt, co-founder Dave Salvant tells TechCrunch. Now, we've also talked about how quick like applications can be spun up because it doesn't require anything other than just like app development. It doesn't require that you have to go and gather and source these material resources from all these different places, create a manufacturing product and do this. We said that in this new technocratic environment we find ourselves in, a lot of things are already, it's going to be something that you create that's going to execute a function on something that's already been built. So the physical aspects of, doing things in, like, I guess you could say, in a physical space, okay, that stuff's already, it's not only here, but it's actually being streamlined. Okay. So this is the reason why, there's an excess, there's a glut in cars. There's a glut, there's an excess in a lot of things because now technology calls for efficiency. Salvant and Squire's other founder, Sanj Laron, began the business back in 2016 as a back-end barbershop management tool for independent businesses. So they developed software for barbershops. Squire lets businesses schedule appointments, offer loyalty programs, and install contactless, cashless payment. The team claims that now you legit every barbershop you go into, you're paying these dudes cash. Okay. And now I know some of them have started taking Square payments. The team claims that barbershop operations are more complex than many other types of small businesses because there are multiple parties transacting. Plus, customers might check out different services from different barbers all within one service. That's where Squire comes in, to be the point of sale to manage those confusing transactions. Coronavirus has threatened the livelihoods of small and medium-sized business owners, making it harder for them to secure loans or financing to undergo tricky times. Salvant says that Squire took on $15 million in debt financing to create a banking as a service, a BaaS feature for these business owners. This market is underserved by traditional financial institutions, Salvant said. So they basically created a fintech solution. Fintech 101 right there. Right? In a market that's underserved by traditional financial institutions, what do? Use tech to create a solution. And we think there's opportunities to help these owners with financial tools. Going forward, Squire plans to expand into new markets, including Australia, Canada, and the UK. Why the hell not? The majority of capital raised will go toward hiring new sales and marketing professionals. That's all you have to do at this point. The software's already developed. You get your sales development team, you get out there and get it in all of the salons and shops that are doing business. Squire's total staff is currently 100 people. Brothers don't build anything. What have you built? What have you built? Jeez. Black men don't build anything. You guys didn't build anything. You two guys right there. You didn't build this. Bullshit, right? Let me check the chat here. Bossed up. Boss. Don't let 2.0 here say superpowers exist. Let's see here. Who else jumped in? Jay Green, peace. Sir Anthony, peace. High value men. You damn right, Mike. Actual high value brothers, A lot of those people are space cadets. They use esoteric information to avoid dealing with reality on Earth. They're always thinking some extraterrestrial intervention will save them from their stupidity. I mean, you're right. I was trying to understand, like, let me see here. That was Sonic. And that wasn't Sonic who was saying it. He was just saying he was reading that on Black Twitter. I had never heard of that. Okay. I had never heard of such a thing, but that's just crazy, man. Like I said, I was looking at it more of like and this is just kind of like my personal sort of thing here, but I think that in a lot of like previous space and galactic treaties that a lot of a lot of these nations were entered into in the past, I think the expiration date on a lot of them were December 21st, 2020. I think that's what it is. I think that for whatever reason, that date was largely settled on with previous like space treaties and galactic treaties. So I think that's my thought. I think this has more to do with treaties and agreements meeting an expiration date on the date of the Grand Conjunction. That's my theory. But that's my uninformed opinion, I guess, right? Based on what it is that I've read and what we've covered here over the past few years, I'm starting to really get that feel. Like I said, 250 is a lot of coin to secure at this point in the economy. People laugh at me for carding. It's wide open, especially from an EV standpoint. Mike, oh my God, dude. If I start showing you all the movements that's being made in electric karting right now, I put it like this: there's one dude that we're gonna he actually does karting in SoCal too, and we're gonna start collaborating on content. And this is on my karting and esports channel. So he's already talking about lining up financing to develop a prototype cart, electric cart. And then when he and I got to talking, I was like, dude, I'll tell you where to get. We can. I already tell you where to go and get the components, and I have the chassis. So we're already on some electro cart shit for 2021, right? On top of that, I wanted to do another car talk because I wanted to I wanted to dive a little bit deeper because, okay, if you guys know, like, race cars use like the standalone computer and engine management systems, things like the AIM Infinity data logging system. Dudes like BZ Moto and Papadakis Racing, like they build all their cars with this stuff, right? It's just like a standalone computer system that you put in, and then boom, right? Just you program every variable of the car. Okay. Another company that does this is Motec. Okay. So Motec, when you look at like fully built Mercedes, AMG, GT3 race cars and stuff like that, McLarens and all that, they run Motec. Okay. They run Motec. Okay. So what I did was I took the Motec software and I patched it into Assetto Corsa. So all of the data feedback, the inputs that you get literally from like the tires, the brakes, like suspension rebound, like literally everything, I'm pulling all of that data and I can model it in hold on, let me show you. I'm not even bullshit. Wait, hold on, Mike. What did you say? AI plus. Damn, you know what, dude? Okay, I only have so much time to do this before my daughter gets up, and then I got to go do things to get her hair done. But Mike, there's already some dudes they're doing that right now. So they took a cart, put an electric motor on it, and have an Arduino that's basically running the controls for the AI, and the thing drives itself. And all they do is they just chart it out on the geo mapping on the track, and then just send the cart off, and there it goes. Here, let me show you guys this. Okay, I'm going to show you guys something. So this right here. Wait. There we go. Okay. Let me just bring this up. Here, and I just want to go do this so I can make sure, because now it's full screen, so I can't see. Oh, no wonder why there's only 20 some odd people in the Brain Trust, because there's another 7 granules based live stream going on right now. and there's 305 people watching it. Oh well, it's what it is. Oh God, this is hilarious, man. Jeez. Let me find it. Find it. There's only 20 some odd people. All right. Okay, no, that's not what we're doing. Let's see. We're going to share application. Boom, there we go. All right, now you guys, let me see if you see this. I'm looking on my phone, just making sure it pops on the screen here. I mean, the problem is that people think that this venue, the Brain Trust, is about like we just talk all this shit, and it's just like, dude, no, no. It's like we talk about it because we do it. All right, there it goes. It popped up. I want to show you guys something, man. So this right here. Let me pull. Now let me pull my data up. So this is why I tested this stuff last night, right? So this is say like, okay, when you race like in a real car, okay. So after you go and do your session, what we do is we're gonna go and then we'll pull all the data from the Motec. So like, let's say if I'm actually out driving, like if I'm in a cart or I'm in a car, right? So in a cart, we'll pull the data off of a Micron. We don't run Motecs on a cart, we run a Micron. Okay, so Micron will still it'll pull the relevant data for a cart, but for an actual car, there's way more inputs. So you need to use something like an Infinity, or I'm sorry, AM Infinity system, or use Motec. And like I said, in all of like the top GT3 cars and all that, dude, they run all this Motec shit. So this is the actual Motec software, as you can see it right here. And so what I did was all of the actual real world variables that they programmed into the car in the sim world, I'm extracting it out and then dumping it into Motec so I can see what the hell I'm doing. So let's see, I did some practice. This was on Paul Ricard yesterday, right? This is Le Castellet in France. So we're going to go ahead and load this up. All right. And so from here, here's what you guys can see. So I'm able to actually go over the data much like I would do in a real car in the real world. If I was racing a real Lexus RCF GT3 race car, this is the data that we would pull once I pull into the pits, right? And then with my engineer, hold on. Oh wait, let me move it. There we go. Okay, so let me scrunch it up so you can see. So this is lap 1, right? This is lap 1. This is lap 2. This is lap 3. This is lap 4, right? So you can see how I'm using the throttle with each lap, and then what you're looking for patterns. It's almost like it's like reading any kind of chart. If it's like stock charts or anything like that, right? So now I'm looking at how I'm driving in the sim world using Motec data. And when you're using Motec data, this is where you can compare lap to lap. And then I pull, well, this is just if I wanted to compare drivers, right, then I could compare it based on drivers. But then we've got wheel speed, right? So average wheel speed, inside, left front, and then rear, and then left front. Left, right, rear, left, right, front, right? Wheel speed for each average wheel speed. And it's 55 is low because I was just testing all this stuff. I wanted to see if I could get this stuff to work, and I did. Okay. This will give you things like all your steering angle data. And there's different ways we can chart the stuff and look at it too, right? RPM history, right? So this tells me how I'm using the engine. Okay. This is right here is telling me my suspension data. Okay. And then this stuff changes over time too. So as components like get heat built into them, it'll pull all of this data out. Suspension travel, like how much rebound I'm getting. So based on throttle positioning. This is what my suspension is doing, right? At all of these points right here. See how they all correspond? Right here, right here. Same points of the track, taking the lap. The variances are in how I'm taking the track. These are going to look different based on how I'm driving it, but all of these peaks and valleys are going to be relatively the same because this is when I'm on throttle, this is when I'm off, this is when I'm on, this is when I'm off. And so these indicate turns in the track right here. These right here, these indicate turns. Here's the track itself. So as I go around it, it maps it out, right? As I go and I trace out the course, it maps it out, right? And then it tells me at what parts of the track, what gear I'm at. So again, this is how I can pull the data from Assetto Corsa because because again, the way the data was put into Unreal Engine to create the cars, it literally takes all of the actual data from the real race cars and they use things like Motec. So that's how I'm able to pull all that, use this. So this is how much the sim world matches the real world. It matches it so damn close that the only thing we're really looking at this point is immersion. How much can I trick my brain now to immerse myself into a sim world to such a degree where it's actually real? And that's the frontier we're heading into. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys this in case people think that, you know, when dudes like Mike V are typing what he's typing in the chat, and you know, people might just think that this is stuff that's just being said for shits and giggles because it sounds cool to say, you know, talk techno babble. Fuck that. We are the techno babble. We're the technocrats. It's not techno babble. It is us, and we do this shit. Okay. On a sim or on a real track. You want some? Holler at your boy. Yeah, this data analytics, data science, mathematical modeling, engineering Kansas, exactly. Exactly. And this is what I mean, like how close this stuff is. It's actually in our hands if we know, if we are to use it. It's actually right there. It's in our hands. You know, so all of this, man. One last thing I did want to cover here. And then, like I said, I'll have to step away for a little bit, take care of some stuff, and then um, I want to try to kind of fire up another live stream here because, like I said, weekends are the days that I you know, can get a lot of this stuff in here. Let's see here. Let me know if you guys can see this right here. If you guys can see that, I just want to make sure. Okay, wait, I can see it, so I just want to make sure you guys can see it. Can you guys see this? This is blockchain training on screen. Can you guys see this? Oh, okay. I don't know if you guys are seeing this. Do you guys see like something on the screen? I think I see it. Yeah, you do. Okay. All right. So, so we joined Lionel and I this week. We sat in on a live stream by this group, the Center for Blockchain Studies, and they run a channel called the Black Blockchain Consultants. Okay, Black Blockchain Consultants. That's them right here. Okay, and what they have, these are a group of people. They're all, you know, they've been tech professionals for quite a long time, to the extent that they've kind of seen where this has been, where we were going with regards to blockchain and all that. And so it was a very informative live stream that Lionel and I sat in on. And you know, I this is one of those things where this is crucial. So I'm going to put this link in here. And this isn't really even about like free promotion for them like that, because I've promoted them in the past, but this is more of I'm promoting them because this is crucial. Like the conversation that was had on that live stream, phenomenal. And um, it's not a stretch at this stage of the game. And the reason why I say it's not a stretch at the stage of the game is because we've got groups of people like the Studies for Blockchain, or the Center for Blockchain Studies, that are putting together these courses, right? To get us thinking in a blockchain and crypto type fashion, right? I don't, you've been following, well, I would say if you're not subscribed to Lionel's on Crypto with Lionel channel, please do, because he's been giving everybody all the skinny on what's been going on. The whole run with Bitcoin up to 20K and everything else. He had a 24/7 stream going, the watch party, as we called it. And I'm going to go back to sharing his 24/7 stream as well. He had to actually just redo it. So it's done. So I'll go ahead and repost it here in a bit. But I did want to make sure that we have this on this live stream. Because again, 2021, we've already determined is basically the year you're going to have to decide to make a move on something. Okay. It may as well start here. So what I wanted to do is just provide this link to show you what we've got here. Future Forward Teams Pack. So this is blockchain basics. Things like, and I looked into this stuff. It's like how to incorporate these types of things, say like into like your social media profiles and stuff, right? How to do smart contracts, right? This is like things that you could provide as a service to people. This is why I said their live stream was very, very, very important, because they explain to people how you could be a part of this without actually knowing how to code a smart contract or something like that. So just something like industries including banks, government, management, supply chain, automotive, real estate, insurance, healthcare, entertainment, international trade, and more currently using smart contracts. Students of this technology are able to find jobs to start smart contract-based businesses to help two parties complete transactions for a fraction of the cost and more efficiently. This is what, at the conclusion of this lesson, participants will be able to understand what constitutes a smart contract, outline the benefits of smart contracts, describe how smart contracts work, provide smart contracts use cases, explain the smart contract protocol, give examples of side chains, and explain smart contract applications, DApps. People, you see that? That's melanin right there. This is a group of Black folks, man, that's putting this together. We got to get on this, man. I understand, man. 7 granules is like, he's the topic du jour. I get it, but I don't know if that shit's important, man. I gotta be real with you. So I know we started with space, kind of went with the tech stuff. I pulled up some Motec shit. I kind of, because it was towards the end of the live stream anyway. So I wanted to make sure I squeezed this one in, because like I said, I sat in on this live stream and I was 100% sold. Matter of fact, there's going to be some courses I'm going to like get my daughter on. This stuff I'm going to be getting her on like ASAP. I think she could do the Future Forward, like the Teens Pack stuff, because she's already a little techie herself. Okay, let's do this here. How these smart ones will always be a minority. Yeah. Let's see here. I'm not sure where to. LOM, you say I'm not sure where to start with blockchain. Start with that link I just posted. Start there. What's the name of Lionel's channel? On Crypto with Lionel. Here, let me pull it up. I'll call I know a little later today. There you go. That's Lionel's channel on Crypto with Lionel. So, lot of movement, man. Like I said, dude, this fourth industrial wave is literally about to smack people in the face. I mean, as if it hasn't already. But like I said, the space industry is about to go ape, and people are gonna trip out why on the reasons why. But we've been covering it. The stage has been getting set for this whole time. And like I said, for me, that conjunction on Monday, in my view, signifies an official rebooting of the space race. I would have to literally dig through treaties to see like what the expiration dates are on a lot of things, but I have a feeling that that's what the true significance of it. I mean, we have conjunctions, planetary alignments and conjunctions and shit all the time, but when you look at what's taking place terrestrially and how it culminates going into the new year, that December 21st date, man, I don't know. Like I said, this shit's been standing out to me for reasons that I can't explain, and I don't think it had anything to do with superpowers. Uh, okay. So check it out, man. We kind of covered some news items and stuff here. Gave it about an hour. I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna get up, use the little boy's room, see what's up with my little one here, and try to circle back around here for another open chat type of deal um, in a bit. Okay, so yeah, with that, I appreciate you guys for rolling through. I'm pretty sure you guys all hit the like button already, so I don't have to tell you to do it. But for just for having it on the record purposes, hit the like button if you haven't. If you know anybody who's interested in this type of stuff, please share this content with them. And we will catch you on the next live stream. Peace.